Huma Abedin and Anthony Weiner have decided not to get divorced, but many of us don't think it's true love at all. We think it's spousal privilege.
All of a sudden, the divorce is off the table from the court system. It's quite possible that Huma Abedin is saying, if you and I get divorced, you can be forced to testify against me about certain things. And if we're not divorced, spousal privileges remain, and you can actually say, I will not testify against my wife because she's my wife. So this is Anthony Weiner's way of protecting her, and that is one of the things that may be happening here.
So in your experience, and you have a lot of experience, you're honestly one of the most knowledgeable guys I know on these topics, you do feel, as I do, that they're pulling this divorce off the table because there might be imminent criminal charges against Huma Abedin.
Right. Well, I don't know if there's imminent, but I will say there's something very strategic going on here from her legal camp, and it's something that we need to keep an eye on and look at it carefully, because there's all sorts of maneuverings that are going to happen in the next month or two as the investigations continue.
Okay, and you used the word, as we were just talking about all these various topics, you used the word reasonable. You said that when you were in the prosecutor's office, you described yourself as a reasonable prosecutor, and I see you smiling because you know where I'm going with this. James Comey said that the reason he decided not to further criminal charges on Hillary Clinton to the Department of Justice for prosecution is because A, there was no intent, which you've just said wasn't required, but B, that no reasonable prosecutor would have prosecuted. Now, like I said earlier, we know each other 13 years. You're one of the smartest guys on this stuff that I know, world expert. I wish I could convey to the audience how many groups and global organizations have brought you in to train their people to testify. I've actually worked with Huma. We've traveled to various police academies, the U.S. Marshals, the FBI, the UN, Interpol. I mean, the guy really is. I'm bringing you a guest here that's a world expert on this. In your opinion, and you being what I consider to be a very smart, strategic, and reasonable prosecutor, if what you see on Huma Abedin was presented to you by federal investigators, would you move forward with a prosecution?
I think most reasonable prosecutors would move forward. And I think more important than this and anything else, what I found most interesting about Mr. Comey was that he was speaking for the prosecutors. He was not a prosecutor. He was an investigator. Break down an FBI person, they're an investigator. That was his role, to investigate and then present to the prosecutors for them to make decisions. The fact that he did it on his own, he actually stepped outside the bounds of what his role is traditionally as the FBI director or as an FBI agent.
Sure.
And that, for all of us reasonable prosecutors or former prosecutors, was the most surprising part. And then to speak on our behalf, or our, if we were in the government on our behalf, was the second most surprising part.
That was an excerpt from my new one-hour daily show, Off the Cuff, Declassified. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you. And if you do, become a premium member. That way, you'll get full access to every one of my daily shows.